Well, hello and welcome to a new video. Today I'm gonna give you my thoughts and opinions on Sheglam. Sheglam is the beauty line from the website Shein. They do a bit of everything from fashion to decoration to now also makeup. It's all very affordable makeup, on top of which you have offers like pretty much all the time. You know, you get 10% if you spend this much and then 20% if you spend that much. So I'm not sure exactly how much the total was because I had reductions and because I also purchased a couple of other things. But yeah, just so you know, it's quite affordable. You can go on the website and check it out, and let's go. So my initial plan, and I've actually mentioned it in a vlog that I'm currently filming. I don't know which video is going to be up first. I actually filmed a full face first impression earlier today as I was applying this makeup. I had an hour-long footage that I just deleted from my phone. It's a pain in the ass to edit that kind of footage. I know that because I've made that mistake before. When I filmed my full face of Essence makeup, I had filmed the first version and then it was just too difficult to edit. Long story short, I decided to get rid of that footage and start over. I have worn this makeup for a few hours now. You can see on my nose because I had to blow my nose, sorry. I also went grocery shopping, so I had a mask on, so definitely the nose kind of doesn't look that great anymore. The lipstick is pretty much gone, but that's all for the best. Other than that, I think it still looks nice. I haven't touched anything, so I'm just gonna go through every product that I've used on my face and tell you what I think. The first thing I used is the primer. This is the Birthday Skin Primer. Now the packaging, beautiful. It's very luxe. You have a little spatula to go with it so that you can take the product. Texture-wise, it kind of looks and feels like the Tatcha Silk Canvas. I don't remember the name. It's just a tad more greasy. It also has a slight scent of roses, which, you know, I hate. It's too early for me to give you an opinion on this product. It's supposed to reduce the appearance of pores. I didn't notice much of a difference. Now, did it help my foundation to stay on? Again, I couldn't tell you right now. I tried it with the Sheglam foundation, so I would have to test this again with other foundations and see what I think about it. I gotta appreciate the packaging though. It's just not my favorite texture. The next thing I tried is the foundation. This is the Complexion Pro Long Lasting Breathable Matte Foundation. I actually used little samples like this. I bought 3 different ones. I mixed the shades Golden, and Porcelain. I also have this Honey. I know this isn't the most eco-friendly thing to do because this is a lot of packaging, but honestly, picking a foundation shade online is difficult enough. On this application in particular, I find that sometimes the pictures you're seeing on the models and then of the products, just it's difficult to have a clear understanding of what the shade is. And on top of it, right now I'm tan, my face is a bit more pale. No, I didn't feel like buying a full-size foundation, not knowing if I was gonna like it, and also the shade matching was gonna be too difficult. So I did take advantage of the system. These little samples were like 25 cents, I believe. I find it to be quite practical, to be honest. Like I said, if you want to test something out before buying the full-size product, but again, yeah, not very environmental friendly. This is a nice foundation. This has been on for a few hours now. Like I said, around the nose, like this is all gone, but honestly, it happens with every foundation. Like sometimes I just have to blow my nose a bunch and it just goes everywhere. The rest of my face still looks nice. Even when I had the mask on, I didn't have it for that long, but still, it looked nice. I like the finish. It is on the matte side, but it's not too matte. It's not drying. I don't think it is. I don't have dry skin, but I don't feel like it's drying. The coverage is really great. I didn't use any other products on my face to conceal my pimples or whatever. So yeah, I like it. It's full coverage, but it's still somewhat natural. I haven't powdered at all since the first time I powdered it right after I did my makeup. I can tell it's the kind of foundation if you put it on in the morning, you know, throughout the day you might be a little bit shiny. Then again, like I said, I have more of a combo to oily skin. So again, this happens with most of my foundations. I must say I'm pleasantly surprised. It didn't crease that much. See, I have a line here and I have a bunch of lines there. I don't know if you can tell, but it didn't crease that much. It didn't really sink in my lines, which is quite impressive. So yeah, I actually really like this foundation. I then use the concealer. This is the 12-hour full coverage concealer. This is the shade Madeleine. This might be just a teeny tiny bit too light for me right now, although it wasn't that bad. I mean, it's gonna seem like super light on my hand because you see my hand compared to my face. It's not what I would call a full coverage concealer. It didn't completely cancel my circles, but it did the trick. It's definitely not the coverage of a Tarte concealer, but yeah, it's fine. Same thing as the foundation. It didn't really crease that much. It doesn't appear to be particularly drying either. So I would say, again, it's a good concealer overall. Next up, I used this contour stick. Now, this is a little bit too dark for me. I don't know if you can really tell. I believe it was the lightest shade available. This is the shade Cinnamon, by the way. It is pigmented, so you definitely need to have a light hand with this. You see, it's quite something. There is a brush on the other side. I hate these kinds of brushes, even on my Nudestix Bondi Bay bronzer. I don't like it. At first, when I applied it directly on my cheek, and then I blended using this brush, which I quickly realized I actually don't like that much. It's very firm, and I didn't want to rub it too much because I was afraid it was gonna move my foundation. So I was just tapping like this, and it's hurting my face. So what I decided to do next was to take another brush, a little bit more flexible, and to just go on the product like this, and then apply it to my cheeks. And it worked a lot better that way. I don't feel like it removed my foundation. I can't say this is my favorite color, but again, honestly, it's a good product. And I'm gonna have to compare it to my Nudestix Bondi Bay because I haven't used it in a while, and I didn't quite like it at first because I felt like that was moving my foundation quite a bit. So yeah, I'm gonna have to check. But this is a matte finish, and yeah, good product. The packaging is very sleek and simple. Honestly, pretty good. Next up, I have this Color Bloom liquid blush. You know how much I've been into cream and liquid blushes lately. I'm not the only one. I mean, everyone is like all over them at the moment. This, I must say, the packaging it looks a little bit more cheap, but it's not that big of a deal. So this is what it looks like. See, you have this little mousse thing here, which again, not my favorite, but it's not that big of a deal. It's quite liquidy. I don't know if you can tell. So what I did is that I applied some on the back of my hand. I took a brush, dipped it in, and then put this on my cheeks. And again, the texture, the way that it blends, it's a good product. Now you can probably not see a lot of it yet because, you know, blushes usually don't stay on your face that long. But see, it's pretty. This is the shade Devoted. So it's very pretty. The one thing I don't like about this product is, I don't know if you can tell, but it has gold glitters, actual glitters. Not a fan of that because honestly, as you blend the product, yeah, you still see a bunch of glitters. It's just not my favorite. It's not as golden and shiny and reflective as the NARS Orgasm. It's just actual little pieces of glitters, you know? So that's a little weird, but honestly, overall, if you're looking for a liquid blush that is not expensive, that has a nice shade to it, and that blends well, you can't go wrong with this. Next up, I used the Cosmic Crystal Mousse Highlighter in the shade Vanilla Sky. This, again, this packaging, lovely. The texture of this, it's weird. It's not exactly a mousse. It's not a powder. It's not a balm. I cannot explain the texture of this product. Now this, it looks, when I applied it on my cheeks, it looked a little bit more yellow than I first saw in the packaging. It does give a nice sheen to the skin. The only issue I have with this product is that the texture is just so special that I don't quite know how to apply it and how to work with it. What I did is that I went in with my fingers and I tapped it on the high points of my cheeks like this. But I feel like the best effect I get, the most wow effect, is when I go that way. I can't do that on my cheeks. I'm going to remove the whole thing. I'm not sure that a brush would actually pick up anything from this. So, yeah, I feel like it's pretty, but I don't know how I can apply it and have it show up, but not be too stripy. So I'm gonna have to continue working with this, but I do enjoy the effect it gives to my skin. It's just, like I said, maybe a bit too yellow, and I'm not sure how this is gonna work when I will be more pale. So I'm gonna have to try this again. For powder, I went with the Baked Glow setting powder. I have the shade Cappuccino. This is maybe a tad darker than I would have hoped. I don't know if you can see the color of this. This is a good powder. It's finely milled. It does mattify. I don't feel like it's drying. I put it under my eyes on top of that concealer. It worked fine. It didn't look cakey. It didn't, you know how sometimes you use a powder and actually makes things deeper, that kind of oxidizes the product. That didn't happen. Let me just touch up a little bit. So you see, it does mattify what needs to be mattified without being too drying on the skin or too cakey. Let me just show you. You see, you can definitely tell the difference. It came with this little powder puff, which honestly is quite good. Like, more often than not, when you get a little puff like this with a loose setting powder, it's a dud. This is good. This is nice. It's quite flexible. It's very soft. I like this. My biggest complaint about this powder is the fact that there's no additional cover here. So you have the powder opened and you just put the cap back on. There's nothing else to prevent the powder from going everywhere in the cap. So That is not something I appreciate. I'm gonna have to be careful when I put this back in my collection and every time I open it. But other than that, again, nice product. Next up, I have this Skinny Brow Pencil. This is the shade Ash Brown, which, you know, works fine for me. So you have on one side a spoolie and on the other, the pencil. Again, the packaging similar to the bronzer stick, you know, very sleek and simple. I liked it. It's fine. The color is nice. It goes well with my eyebrows, and that's really the big important point for me. It's a bit too emollient, I would say. It's a little bit too creamy for my taste. Let me show you. It glides on, which some people like because then you don't have to really go at it. It's just, you can do your brows very quickly. I prefer a little bit more dry of a texture just so that I feel like I cannot mess up. And I feel like sometimes when a brow product like this is too creamy, it goes a bit everywhere. Yeah, it's not my favorite brow product, but you know, it's okay. They didn't have a clear gel. Well, not anymore at least. They had some kind of a wax, kind of like the Anastasia Brow Freeze, I believe, but it was sold out. So I just set my brows with my Nudestix like I usually do. Next up for the eyes, I used this Ready Set Primer, which is an eyeshadow base. It makes me think a lot in the texture and the finish of the Urban Decay Primer Potion. This is just maybe a teeny bit more greasy, but it does dry out. So you just need to wait a couple minutes and then it leaves kind of a satiny finish. I couldn't tell you precisely if it mattered or not. I mean, at the end of the day, if you truly want to test an eyeshadow base, you kind of have to do one eye with, one eye without, and I didn't think of doing that today, so I'm gonna have to do the test just to see. But I mean, yeah, it's an eyeshadow primer. What do you want me to say? For the eyeshadows, I actually bought two palettes. The first one, that is the one I used today, is the Mauve-olous palette. This is what it looks like. I will insert some swatches I made, let's say here. This is not a bad palette. This is a palette I used today. It's just, the shimmers honestly are a bit lackluster for me, some of them at least. The shade Grace I have in my inner corner. This one is beautiful. It definitely picks up well. The matte shade blend easily, but they blend a little too well. What I mean is that when you blend it out, you lose a little bit of the color payoff. That being said, I also did choose a palette that is not the deepest palette. You can see the color is showing up. You can definitely see it, but I feel like some of it kind of mixes all together and disappears in a way. I don't know if I'm making myself understood. Yeah, like I said, it's not a bad palette. It's just that a bunch of the shimmers here are just not really that great. This Perfect Storm is kind of a duochrome, but it's not very punchy, and yeah, it's not my favorite, but it is by no means a bad palette, especially if you're going for a more soft look. And like I said, you know, it's not patchy, it's not difficult to blend, it's not the most pigmented, but it's user-friendly, I guess. Just a little disappointed with the shimmers. Now this palette, same thing, I will insert some swatches. This is the Tie-Dye 4 palette. You know this is the kind of stuff I'm into right now. This is more of a pastel palette, so it's always gonna be trickier to formulate. It's not gonna be, you're not gonna have the most color payoff. You can see it. I have played with it a little bit. I'm gonna use it again, but I want to try with an opaque light base on my eyes just to make sure that the colors really pop. They seem again to blend nicely, but same thing as with the other palette. It just, yeah, you don't get that much. I am very disappointed in the shimmers in this palette because when I put it on my fingers, you can see it, but then, you see, I have to really like press. It actually catches nicely on camera, but it's just, there's really not a lot going on. This looks more like a top coat, in my opinion. So I can't say I'm super impressed with this eyeshadow palette, but again, a pastel eyeshadow palette is not the best one to judge a brand on. Next up, I used this Expert Creamy Eyeliner in black. I put this in my waterline. I feel like you can't really see it anymore, but I also don't have a ton of black everywhere, so, you know, it's fine. It seems creamy and quite black. It's not that easy to use on the waterline. I felt like I had to kind of go back in again. And you can see it's not the most long-lasting eyeliner, but yeah, it's not bad. It's just honestly not something I would necessarily reach for. And then I used this eyeliner. This is a duo, so you have on one side a pen like this, which is honestly quite nice. It looks like it's very black. It looks like it's not precise, but you can actually do a very fine line with it. I found it easy to use. It is very, very firm. And at first I was afraid that that was going to be difficult to work with, but it actually was nice. I didn't have difficulties doing my line. Once it dries, it doesn't really move that much. It has kind of disappeared in here in the beginning of my eyes, but other than that, yeah, it's still pretty much there, and I don't have, again, black all over my face, so yeah, it's kind of a good product, to be honest. And then on the other side, you have a stamp like this, which honestly, I've never bought a product like this before. It's not something I find super practical, because at the end of the day, I mean, it's still difficult to match both your eyes, and then you still have to go back in with a normal liner to correct your wing. So really, is it useful? Is it something that's necessary? No. Let me just show you. That's what happens. It's more of a gadget to me, to be honest, but you know, I used it. It worked. I had to go back in a little bit. Doing my eyeliner right now is a little bit tricky because my lids are falling down because I'm getting old. And see, it stays. Next up, I used this mascara. This is the all-in-one volume and length mascara. This is kind of like the Huda mascara. So you have one side for the volume with a brush like this, similar to Better Than Sex from Too Faced, Lash Paradise from L'Oreal. I mean, we see this kind of brush everywhere. And then this curly silicone brush, which looks a lot like the Roller Lash from Benefit. This is not my favorite kind of brush, I must say. I used both. I first used only the lengthening side and then the volume side. Alone, it doesn't do much. And then I added the volume side and the lengthening side. It's fine. It's not the most... I don't really see the volume aspect of it. It is lengthening somewhat. Again, I'm happy that at least it's not running everywhere on my face. It's just not... I don't find it very present. You know, I like a big lash. This is just not really doing it for me. It's not bad. It's just the formula seems a little dry. Now, I don't like it when I use a mascara that is too wet and that goes everywhere. That, again, for that matter, is quite user-friendly because it's not too wet of a formula, so you don't go all over your lids with it. But yeah, it just felt like not much was happening. So yeah, not the best, but not the worst. I then had this product, which unfortunately I didn't use. This is the Sheglam Stay Wild Jelly Glitter in the shade Icy. Now, this is what it looks like. So you see it's kind of a gel. It is gorgeous. It's holographic. It's very, very pretty. The issue I have with this, look at that. You see, this is gorgeous. I love it. Technically, you are not supposed to put glitters near your eyes because you might scratch your eyes with it. This is a disclaimer that all makeup companies put on their glitter products. We all know we're not supposed to do it. We still do it. The reason being that in cosmetics, they use round glitters, and that way you have less risks of scratching your eyes. The risks still exist, which is why they put on that disclaimer. I personally put on glitters on my eyes. This, however, I don't know if you can tell. In this glitter gel, you have little specks and then little stars and little moons, which, I mean, it's very pretty. You see on that little moon, there's definitely sharp angles. And honestly, even when I pick it up in between my fingers, I can feel it. And I really, really, really don't feel comfortable putting this on my eyes. Now, maybe this is just me being too cautious, but yeah, I don't know. They seem to stick quite nicely, but I'm gonna have to remove it at the end of the day. And as I remove it, I'm very much afraid that one of these little moons is gonna go in my eye and make me blind. So, if you're into fun glitters that you just put on your cheeks for festivals or whatever, then definitely this is, oh my god, this is gorgeous. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna use this, at least not on my eyes. Maybe one day I'll do something fun, like I said, on my cheeks or my body, I don't know. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend using it on your eyes. I think it's a little bit too sharp. And finally, for the lips, I used this little duo thingy. It's the lip cream and gloss. I don't remember the name. This is quite similar to this NYX product that I bought recently, where you have matte liquid lipstick on one side and then kind of a clear gloss, vanilla looking thing in here. This is, I don't have it on my lips anymore. This is pretty much gone. Like I said, it's better that way. This is a lot lighter than what I expected. And this goes back to what I said about the shades being difficult to see on the website, because the picture of the model wearing that lipstick, I mean, it looked a lot darker, you know? And like I said, sometimes you would see a picture of a model and then a picture of the product, and it just looked completely different. And then a picture of the swatch, and it was just kind of difficult to tell exactly the right color. And this is the kind of tone that I really like, but it's just way, 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 way too light. I feel like even if I was more fair, it just wouldn't work. It's too light. On top of it, because I mean, the fact that it's too light, it's definitely my fault. I should have picked a deeper shade. I really don't like the formula. It smells weird, for starters. I don't like the formula. It's very, very drying, and it's quite patchy, to be honest, which for a light color like this to be patchy, I was like, okay, I don't really get it. And then this clear side, I mean, yeah, it's fine. It's just a clear gloss. It's not too sticky, so that's good. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't buy it just to have this part right here. It was so light that I went in later on with a NYX pencil because I couldn't stay like that. It was really, really light. So yeah, this product I'm really not a fan of. I know they have a bunch of other lip products. I just, whatever shade I wanted, they didn't have anymore. So, and I didn't want to buy a shade that I knew I was never gonna wear. So, I mean, I still ended up with one I can't really wear, but whatever. So that is all for my review on Sheglam products. Overall, I must say I was pleasantly surprised, especially by the complexion products, because they're honestly not bad. There were a few things that were kind of like, I'm not really sure. I need to try them more with different products just to see exactly what I think about them. But yeah, overall, pleasantly surprised. I am, of course, going to continue testing and wearing the products, like I said, with different products of my collection. And I think some of these might end up in my favorites of this month. Honestly, I've only used it once, but some of these products seem to be quite good. So make sure to come back on my channel to find out more about how I like or don't like these products. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give this a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to my channel because it's free. So why wouldn't you? That way you won't miss any more of my videos. And I will see you guys later. Bye.